right.
Let's get this thing going, I guess.
Let's get some... Sweet.
I guess this is all about our trip to the ruined piano sanctuary.
Department of Education, huh?
Yeah.
This is not going to be good. Oh no, it's cancer.
Anyway, so
It's
what is
cancer.
this movie about?
Okay.
Let's actually figure this out. Okay.
Okay, fine.
We got there. We were. Ow, my mouth hurts. There's a sore in my mouth.
I heard that, like, I actually heard a story of a guy who his tongue was feeling a bit weird.
Yeah.
And he went to the dentist, and the dentist goes, "You gotta get that checked out." Turns out he had cancer on his tongue. He had to have like half his tongue removed, and they had to cut all of his cheek off, like inside his cheek, to fix like where the tongue had been cut.
Really?
Yeah. So maybe it's the same thing for you. Maybe it's cancer. But let's not focus on that now. Let's get back to the piano. Okay. Well, our good friend Ross, who is an artist and a composer here in Perth, he started collecting ruined pianos for some reason back in 1987. I think the idea was that people get really attached to their pianos, and the idea that when they're broken or they become they go beyond their original function as far as they're not hitting the right notes and they go out of tune and they've got broken hammers, yada yada yada, and they can't play these pieces. And as a result, Ross comes swooping in and he saves them from being left at some dump or something like that, and he takes them and he places them in, originally in an exhibition. Basically he started this exhibition in 2003, I think it was, or 2004? Anyway. I forget, but that's not important. Anyway, so after the exhibition ended, he had these 20 or so pianos, and Kim was actually nice enough to let him store all the pianos on his farm. Yeah. And so what they've done is...
Where is the farm?
York.
York,
in the
Western
olive...
Australia.
Yes, in the olive farm. That's what the farm's originally used for.
What else we got to talk about here?
Oh, the tour itself. So,
we arrived.
Yeah, we did. On the scene.
On the scene, people showed up.
I believe there were women there with those like lays, and they were like laying people, and they're like, "Aloha," and I was like, "Aloha."
No, all right. Okay. No, there were no Hawaiian women. There were none.
You know what? If I was hearing the story being retold, I'd probably want to hear it with like Hawaiian girls in grass skirts saying "Aloha."
That's a completely different thing altogether.
I know, but let's just say that's how it happened.
No, because this is a documentary. We're supposed to be telling the truth.
All right, the truth. Gotcha.
No, there was a bunch of pianos that they've collected over since like the 70s. Out in the middle of fields, weathered by rain, bugs.
Animals. There was that one with all the rats that were having sex in it. I seem to remember that one pretty clearly.
I don't remember that one.
Don't you? They were saying that, like, because they set up like a nest in there, and apparently like when they're like fornicating, like these two rats just going at it like mad things, like rats.
I remember them talking about
yeah,
rats.
Yeah, and you could hear
sex.
them, and they could basically playing it. They were playing it because they were inside, humping away.
Why was he sitting around watching this?
Dude, you're in the farm in the middle of nowhere, setting up pianos and stuff. I don't judge, right? I don't judge.
Okay, so we'll assume there were rats having sex in the piano.
Yeah, there were. Anyway, so then we come back to the farm, and then as soon as the tour began, it starts raining. And then we spent about 45 minutes wandering around this farm in the rain, with me with a microphone in my hand and an umbrella, trying to block the visual, trying to block the rain from the camera.
I think the real stuff that killed was when he was doing the performance, like, cause he did three pianos set up in a horseshoe shape or a U or whatever, and he'd sit in the middle of them and he'd play pieces on each of them, but between them he'd give a little bit of a background to the piano and its relationship to Australia.
The story of the Australian bush is the story of the piano, and pianos had such a huge role in Australian cultural life right from the very, very beginning. When the population of Australia was approximately 3 million, there were supposed to have been 770,000 pianos, and selling the family piano was the sign of true ruin. You know, you had reached the pits.
It was just like that was the kind of thing that hit home for me, because it really painted a picture in my mind of how relevant pianos were in Australia's history, and how much the idea of this surreal environment of these pianos sitting in the bush, how true that really was, as far as these people would have been living in shacks and sheds in these makeshift homes when they first arrived here, barely able to get food. At the same time, they've all got these Jerryanas, and they're all sitting around telling stories and playing, and this is like every family, and the statistic was like 1 in 4 people. So I mean, I don't know, it's kind of like, after he said that and he started playing it again, it just like, in my head, it gave me time to think about like how it would have been to be there at the time. Like, I never really put myself in those people's shoes before. It was just this idea of, at night, you know, after the day's done and it's probably getting pretty cold or whatever, and everyone's just sort of hungry and the environment's harsh and they've got no, you know, electricity or running water or anything like that. They've got a piano. And it's like, that's like their sole source of like entertainment and joy and all this other stuff. And like, and as well as that, it was like a sign of status as well. Like they lost their piano. That's like it. That's all they've got.
I hope people don't get really irritated with us.
I think
because
if
it's just us talking about we think about something we were told.
Yeah, that's great. People love that.
It's a lot of American bullshit.
Yeah, but it's okay. We'll edit you out.
I was pretending to know what we're talking about.
It's okay. I was pretending to know what we're talking about too. It's fine. Cancer.
I don't have cancer that I know of.
Hey, if I'm the first one to pick it, I get $10.
No.